Okay, it's tomorrow. You can see that I did some JB weld on where it was cracked. Again, the crack actually ran up a little bit farther. Again, this part was just the line, it wasn't actually separated. But I went ahead and slathered in some JB weld into the crack, and then I clamped it overnight to let it dry. So now I'm just gonna kind of sand this, knock the rough edge off of it, and then we'll assemble it onto the other seat base and see if we can get it all put together. Rather than using rivets, I don't really have a rivet really that big. I probably do, but I'd rather not use that. So what I'm going to do is, where I've seen other people do this, is they use bolts. What I've got are just, these are what I have laying around. It's a 1/4 inch 20 thread lock nut, and then just a couple of, I'm using these short ones, possibly right here. And these actually have the, I don't know what you'd call it, but they have that box already in them. And what's kind of nice is right there, it's going in that top hole, which is basically boxed already. And you can see it actually fits in pretty tight. I've got those just sitting in there. So unfortunately, I don't have two more this same size. I've got these two, but they're a thicker one and they don't fit through the opening. And I don't think they're going to fit through there. So right, that's my plan. These long ones, once I get them in and tighten down, I'll just cut it off with the Dremel, with the little cutting wheel, so they'll be the right length that I need, and I don't have to worry about damaging the threads. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that down, and then the other hole, that's where the plastic push pin held the kind of the foam part of this in. Oops, throwing things everywhere. So I'll end up just replacing those four. Actually, the two on the back are still good, but the two in the front, I'll just get new push pins for those guys. But yeah, I think this is going to work well to keep this part in place. And again, this isn't so much structural as it is just to hold the leg braces in for side-to-side movement while driving in a sporty fashion. So here's an in-work picture. You can see that one has already been trimmed down, and that's what it's going to look like when I'm done. Okay, both of those are cut. We'll move on to the next step. I clearly should have gone back and watched my disassembly video, because I forgot that this has to go in before the plastic seat cover goes on. You can see those just like fall into place, and then this part just pushes down onto the bar, just like that. And now the other part can go on with the plastic over top of that. So that kind of foamy part goes next, and then the plastic goes over. Okay, after rewatching my video a couple of times, I finally realized how this goes. So again, the downside of this foam piece sits right here. The two rivets go into the holes up front that are next to the bolt holes that I just used. So those are going to push in there, and the rest of this just sits in place. It's actually held in by the cushion. So now I'm going to go ahead and strap in all the cushion components, all these clips around the outside edges, and then I'll be able to flip it over and hook up all the wiring. Well, that actually was super easy. I started with this front lip, got it kind of, again, it goes under and then tucks up. So it's kind of a weird position to get started. Make sure you got the others, this corner and this side, out from under a little bit as you do that. And then you can pretty easily get those two clips on. I haven't connected the back clip yet. This thing's filthy. I really need to clean it. I'll do that once I finish getting it put together, flipping it upside down. But again, these are going to clip onto that plastic piece of the springs on the bottom. So I'll do that next, and then I'll start hooking up the wiring. But that seat base was really easy. Knowing what I know now, I could do this whole thing in probably an hour without taking the time to video and everything else. So we'll get it flipped over and keep moving. So just an update of what it looks like here on the back side. All I did was flip it over from the last scene. So these are just gonna pull up and clip onto that plastic lip right there. And then I'll start bringing over the focus wiring bundle and start to install all of the pieces from that. Okay, all the wiring's done. Don't remember exactly where every single clip went, and it's not that critical. This is going to be the wiring bundle for the heated seats. Here's the clip in the Focus that was mounted way up front. On mine, it goes here for the escape. Push that back in. I've got the pin for the seat belt connected there. I've got these, I think this is the occupant sensor. Sorry, this part right here. This is the heated seat from the base that goes in there, so it'll ultimately tie in through here. I've got that extra module mounted right there. And then everything else, I just, as much as I could, I put it back where it was before. It may or may not be perfect. Once I get it to install it, if I need to shift one of these two around, I can do that pretty easily. But for the most part, it's coming together really nicely. I'm ready to flip it over and attach the back and the trim pieces, and hopefully, we'll see. I may not get it in the car today because I have to be at an event in a little over an hour. So I'll probably just flip it over, attach the trim pieces, and then call it a day today. Before you put the trim pieces on, you gotta get access to those to put the seat together. So I'm gonna flip it over, get this wiring bundle attached, get that strap back in, and then I'll put the side pieces on. Yeah, but it's just about ready to drop back into the car. Got it all buttoned up. So the back part of the airbag module clips in here, and it clips into that with this elastic strap around it to hold it in place. And then the seat heater clips into that same thing with this strap around it to keep it in place. So this is secure. Everything's wired up. Just got to do that bundle right there. So the seat heater looks like the pins are going to be in there. It's not a separate module like I was hoping for. So we'll have to look into how that's going to connect back into the car. I may have to splice out these two pins and run a separate 2-pin connector to make that part work. But that's down the road. Obviously, they sold cars with the seat heater. I don't know if you need extra pins in the seat harness for that, the car side of the harness or not. So we'll have to wait and see. But for now, it's ready to attach the trim pieces and put back in the car. Okay, all the trim pieces are put back on. And there was one screw kind of on the front side here that went on that L bracket. This one was kind of fun to position, but it's really just the one screw back there. This side, again, I left the two pieces together, kind of wrapped it around, and then there's that screw that attaches, and then there's the one down here. This is, I thought it closed up a little bit better than that. I may not have wrapped it oh, there you go. It was supposed to go over top, and I didn't quite wrap it correctly, but I just bonked it right in place. So now it's ready to go back into the car. Unfortunately, I've ran out of time today, so I'm gonna have to stop here and go one more day without my passenger seat, but I think I'll be able to get it installed into the car tomorrow. So we're almost there. The driver's side, based on what I've learned, should go faster, but I guess we'll wait and see. With all the power for the seat, electric power seat, there'll be a little bit more wiring to deal with. But the existing seat is the same, so I don't think it'll give me too much difficulties. All right, here we are, day 3, really, and limited. I only have a couple hours to work on this. So seat is clean now. No longer have that weird pattern on the back here. I cleaned it just with some water and then some leather cleaner, conditioner. So it is ready to put into the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and reposition everything on the floorboard of the passenger seat. Again, the big challenge that I have there is I'll move the glove box back out. The amplifier I need to position just right, pull up the WeatherTech knockoff kind of floor mat there, so I have better access to the floorboard. And bolts are still there, plastic covers are in the cup holder. So I'll get this cleaned up, bring the seat over, and hopefully get it installed. It's just the clips for the airbag and for the main wiring harness. So that part's pretty easy, and it's all in the exact same spot. After that, I'll hook up the airbag, and we will turn the key and make sure that the airbag light goes off. Probably do a little bit more cleaning while I'm down there with the vacuum and just wiping some areas down. But bottom line is we'll have the seat in the car here very shortly. 15mm bolts on the 4 locations. Tighten all those up. It was not fun getting it positioned back into the car. It actually got caught. This part got caught in the carpet, and I couldn't slide it back far enough because the carpet was blocking it. Once I got that straight, all was good. Sliding motion, every bit as normal. Seat recline works just fine. So got the headrest sitting right back there, and we'll put it on, have a seat, but everything is connected, and the seat is good to go. So there's a quick look, all buttoned up. Seats are in, very comfortable. Obviously that's got to go now. But I wanted to take everything I learned from this one, knowing that the upholstery had to be taken care of and everything else. Plus it was the simpler, since it's the mechanical sliding. That one and the replacement are full power. I'll have to figure out the wiring for the seat heater. That's for another day. I'll do a separate video on that. Hoping to just use the stock escape switches, which go in place of that little kind of bin right there. But yeah, overall, completely successful and absolutely worth the effort.